Well, we are live. I'm going to introduce my page first, and then once I have done that, hopefully Vicki will be on because I will admit I made a mistake. I did not send her to the link until about 10 minutes ago. So if she's late, my fault, not hers. She's been sharing, and so have I. I've been sharing this video, chit chat, to my Facebook groups, to Messenger, to WhatsApp, and all out there, and to all of you beautiful, wonderful people, viewers on YouTube. So, without further ado, I'm just going to let you know what my channel is about. And then once Vicki comes along, we will share what she's got along. But feel free to join in on the collaborations, on the chit chat here while we're going. And I will also share the guidelines on this live on how we will do things. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you what my channel is about. So my channel is basically about connection, connecting you with me in my deep thoughts, whether it's through, or yeah, that one would be through my long form videos, and then just real life stuff, chit chatting, visiting with each other on spontaneous lives. Then another thing that I do is I share a self-care method, something where you can just come in, kick off your shoes, and rest while I do some art, some creative activity. And in a couple weeks, or a little bit, I'm going to be sending out letters to people who want to join me in those creative outlets to have another form of self-care and do it connecting with each other. Now, the final way is tonight, my Thursday night chit chats. My chit chats are me introducing you, the viewer, to new creators that you haven't met yet, creators that I feel will benefit you and that you will enjoy. So I'm hoping that Vicki will see that I'm on air, and that will hopefully, Vicki, if you're seeing this, please take a look at your email. I did send you the link. So whoever's out there right now, feel free to say hello. Feel free to let me know where you're from. Now, the guidelines for this topic, you can feel free to chat with each other in the comments, but asking questions to myself or Vicki, we'll wait until we have a little bit of a break. Okay, she just sent me an email, said she hasn't received it, so let me try it again. One moment. Oh, that's not smart. Hello, Gina. Hello, it's Debbie Sue. Welcome, ladies, and Judith. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully she has my link now. My bad. In my brain, I had already emailed Vicki the link. Local reviewer, hello. Thanks for joining me. Or I should say, thanks for joining us. So Vicki will be here shortly, as long as she receives the email that I'm sent out. Give me 1 second. I don't know if you can probably still see me while I'm looking at my other pages, I'm thinking, but continue chit-chatting amongst each other. This is going to be a great live tonight. Vicki has so much good to share through experience and education, so stay tuned. I'll be right back. Oh, did I send it to the wrong one? Vicki Desler, yes. Uh-huh. Okay. Hi, Rhonda. How are you doing tonight? Thanks for joining me. Vicki will be along shortly, but how's everybody doing today? Are you all having a wonderful day? We're just, I made a little bit of a faux pas and didn't send Vicki the link. So I'm hoping she got it now. I sent it to her about 15 minutes ago, but she didn't get that link. So hopefully she will get this one. So how's everybody doing tonight? I really am excited about this live tonight, this chit chat. Oh, here we go. Vicki is here. So without ado, I am going to introduce the one and only Vicki from Aging on Your Terms. And I'm not going to do a lot of introduction to her because I think she'll do a better job of that on her own. So with no further ado, let's introduce Vicki from Aging on Your Terms. Hey, Vicki.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
I'm doing well. How's everybody else doing out there? We've got quite a few people joining us from the community now, and some of them know you and some of them don't. So,
oh, wow. So I'm sorry if you have to hear my voice again.
I love hearing your voice.
I just realized that I wasn't signed into StreamYard, so I can respond to the chat. So I'm doing that as we speak. But so really quick, like Kathleen said, my name is Vicki, and I have a channel called Aging on Your Terms, and don't be scared about that. It's just me sharing my family's crazy life stories about people who didn't plan for how they wanted to age and all the chaos that has caused my family and all the lessons I've learned from that to hopefully motivate people to not be like our parents and just let age happen to them.
Right. And I'm going to be asking some questions to kind of guide us along. And I always send out, just so those of you who will be doing a chit chat with me in the future will know that I send out the questions beforehand so that you can be prepared for my questions. Now, I don't have everything memorized. Got a not good memory, so I've got it.
Don't worry, you're not the only one.
Glad to hear. All right. Yeah, some of the younger people are like, why do you have to read your questions? Well,
they'll find out soon and they'll go, oh.
Just wait for about 20 years and you'll know. I'm going to ask you question number 1, which is what's one thing you wish you knew about aging 10 years ago?
Oh, that's a good one. So for this one, for me, it would be that I knew what dementia really was. I thought dementia, just like everybody else, thought that it was just memory loss, and it is so much more than memory loss. And if I had known 10 years ago what I know now, we might have actually been able to intervene on my in-laws a little bit longer and I have a video coming out soon, so I won't bore you guys with all the boring details, but memory loss is not the first sign of dementia. Some of the first signs of dementia are mobility issues, not being able to walk, not being able to do activity of daily living, like not being able to actually pick up a fork and know how to use it.
Right.
Not that logic, losing your logic. And I tell the funny story that my mother-in-law and we had an hour-long conversation because she and I were arguing that birds don't poop. And at the time, I'm like, she just likes to just like correct me, and everything that I say is wrong. How is this woman telling me that birds don't poop and she's a teacher? But that was her cognitive function starting to leave. And
Right.
so the memory loss is an afterthought. It's so many other things that actually cause dementia.
That's yeah, and those are the things that we're not expecting. None of us are expecting, right, to get dementia or to get
Right.
Alzheimer's or anything else like that. And these are things that we need to be prepared for ourselves, but also for our kids or friends or
Correct.
whoever it is that will be helping us, as we get older,
Hmm.
right? So,
Exactly, because we think that, oh, age is something that happens down the line. Age happens to us every day. And unfortunately, we never know if the reason why we're going to need help is because of age or an accident or some other illness that strikes us. And so it's better to prepare now while we can actually verbalize what it is we want and how we want to live. It's not morbid, it's not taboo. It really is the best gift that you can give yourself and your family.
exactly. Exactly. So, okay. So local reviewer is just asking for a list here. So I don't know. Can I use a whiteboard on here? And then
Um,
Judith said that her mother-in-law had dementia. So
yeah.
what I'm going to be doing is most comments I'm going to leave till we take a little bit of a break. So you can comment all you want, and then I will go back to those so that we can go flow smoothly through the
Okay.
questions and the information here.
Yeah.
But
And
feel
then
free
living
to
with Judith, I just totally feel for you with the living with dementia, because you don't know what you're in for. You don't know what person you're going to get day to day. And like I was saying, the different symptoms and things that they have, it's really hard for us to wrap our heads around it because nobody taught us what dementia was.
exactly, exactly, and yeah, my grandma had Alzheimer's. We thought it was dementia,
Hmm.
um, but she was in a home, so it was a little bit different on those terms. But I'm not going to get into my stories. We're here about you. This today is about you and what you've learned and your education that you're going to share with us. So, in your view, what does aging on your terms mean in everyday life?
Again, I'm going to take this to my perspective, and anyone in the chat, if you disagree or if you want to chime in with just yours, because it's not disagree, because it's all personal for everybody. For me, it's having those tough conversations. It's me trying to reverse everything that I've seen, because it's not just with my in-laws that I've seen people who didn't do certain things. Like my aunt, my mom's sister, just like she was the one that we thought would always be around. She was the one we always ran to. She was a nurse. We used to call her Dr. Nurse. She would take care
Mm,
of us. My mom never took us to a doctor. And when she got sick, none of us knew she was sick. Just one day, my aunt passed at home. And then we found out that she had been dealing with illness for decades, and she didn't
mm,
share that with anybody. And she dealt with that alone because she wasn't married. She didn't have any children. That was
wow.
the first thing I learned about aging, is you can't do this alone.
Yeah.
And so for me, aging on my terms is I'm going to be vocal. I'm going to build that support network around me now so that I remember who they are when the time comes.
Yep.
And I can't let these lessons go unnoticed, and I can't keep them to myself anymore. I have to get them out there, because as I talk to people, I hear people all the time saying, that'll never happen to me. That'll never happen to me. I'm going to live until I'm 100. I'm going to be by myself and I'm going to be climbing stairs. Yeah, but you might not. And if you plan for the what if, you have that plan. If it never happens, no harm, no foul. But if it happens and you don't have that plan, I'm living what happens when people don't have plans.
Yeah. And you don't have that safety net, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing if you end up for the worst. Like a lot of us that are here, well, maybe not all of us, but a few of us here on this channel have fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome or
Mm-hmm.
lupus or other things. So we're already struggling with some things, but
Mm-hmm.
we don't know what else can happen in the future. And even those who are look perfectly healthy, we don't know. So we're not trying to scare
Yes.
anybody, but it's just that having
Exactly.
that kind of like that, having that fire escape. What if a fire happens in your house, right? So you have to have that
Exactly.
plan of how to get out of your house.
Yep. Funny story. We actually downsized to move closer to family to help them as they're aging. And we knew we wanted a single story. And I bought a single story from a guy whose parents lived in this home since it was built in the
Nice.
1950s. and there were grab bars everywhere in this house. It,
Hmm.
it, it, it was the ugliest thing I saw, and that's the first thing that's going to go. Nope, I had to do other stuff, and I couldn't get rid of the 9,000, grab bars.
Right.
And so, thank goodness I didn't get rid of those grab bars. I twisted my ankle a month after moving in here. Guess who came reliant on those grab bars?
You. Yep.
Exactly. And my in-laws fought me tooth and nail about putting grab bars in their house. And all I want to do was put one in each bathroom and one at the front door and one at the back door to help them out. Nope, that's for old people. I'm like, I'm 30 years younger than you and I have 9,000 grab bars.
Yeah, that's the thing of that generation. Not wanting to admit they're aging, you know?
Yes.
That's
And
how, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say yes, that is definitely that generation.
That's how my mom was too. So
And
may she
I
rest
think
in
that
peace.
they thought that that was a good trait to have, to be self-reliant and independent. But what I have noticed is it was a little bit of brainwashing on their part. Don't, you have to do everything by yourself. Don't you dare ask anybody else anything. And if people know your business, then they'll put you in a home the second they see something is wrong with you. And then what I have noticed is with the dementia, the short-term memory is going. And so when the short-term memory goes, they go back to that time and they go back to, oh yeah, Uncle John, he was a little bit crazy. They put him in a insane asylum. That's not going to happen to me. And
Hmm.
so much, like I said, those things that I wish I knew 10 years ago that's what all of this was. Because my mother-in-law will look you right in the face with the doctor in front of her, going over her medications and say, I don't have dementia. I don't take any medications, and the medications are right in front of her.
Right.
Because she's not lying. Her dementia
Mhm.
is telling her, you're not sick. You don't take
Yeah.
medications. All you take is vitamin A and K and calcium.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, as long as she's able to take it, like you say, it's not that she's lying,
Mm-hmm.
because she actually believes that she doesn't have
And
dementia.
we don't argue with her anymore. We don't tell her, no, you take medication. We go, yeah, you just take vitamins. So everything that she takes, she thinks is a vitamin.
Right.
Because if we tell her it's a pill, then we're going to be in for a world of hurt. But the doctor will talk to her about what it is, what he's prescribing. And in the moment, she's saying that she knows. And the second he leaves, I don't take any medication. Oh, yeah, remember the doctor gave you a new vitamin? Oh, yeah, he did. He gave me a new vitamin.
Right. Which can make things very interesting. I have my phone on a tripod, but I'm going to take it down so I'm not looking away for so much of the conversation. So you've had to change your mindset then, hey? Like, in order to help your parents, and in order to make sure that you're preparing yourself
Yeah,
for
for
aging.
me, my parents were completely different than my in-laws. My mom and dad, because my mom had polio and scarlet fever as a child, and so she was never supposed to have me,
Okay.
and she had
Wow.
6 of us, and she was never supposed to walk, and she walked up until the day she died at 70,
Mm,
and she wasn't
right.
supposed to be alive until 70 either. So, but she's always talked to us about end of life stuff and what she wanted and how she wanted to be taken care of. And if something ever to really happen, I don't want to be on life support. I don't want this. And so my parents were really open and honest and had those conversations with us when we were kids, all the way
Okay.
through the end.
Right.
My in-laws were completely different. So that's why I didn't understand this. I am not talking about it. I have a trust, and I have powers of attorney, and I have this, but you guys can't get it until we die. Powers of attorney are not for when you die. Powers of attorney when you can't help yourself and need people to step in and help you.
Right.
And again, something that I wish I knew was when he said that, that was the start of his dementia. He knew when
Mm,
he set it up when he was in his 50s what it exactly was for, but in his 70s, he forgot what it was about.
right. Which is a trigger from the dementia, hey?
Mm-hmm. So my mindset of aging now is, while I was preparing for what I needed to do to make sure those things didn't happen to me, my new mindset is I actually have to start preventing some of that stuff from happening to
Right.
me. I can't just sit here and just deal with it. I got to talk to Michael or my niece or my sister and tell them what's going on with me. I can't keep it to myself. If things are hard, I got to say it's hard. I can't keep it to myself. And I got to reach out to people. They didn't reach out to people. They kept everything to themselves. Even they didn't even share it with their kids. So that's my new mindset of aging is I'm raising my hand. I'm old. I can say it. I'm not ashamed of it. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
Exactly. And that's something that I think we all need to have that mindset of. There's nothing wrong with getting older. Getting older is a part of life. And if we don't embrace it, we're not going to be able to enjoy it either. Right. We can't have that safety net or enjoy it. Go ahead.
I never understood my mom's statement is the only thing that you have to do in this world is be born and die. And I used to think, why does she say that? But you know what? That's true. That's the only thing that you can say is true in this world. You'll be born and you will pass. Now, how you plan in the middle for all that stuff tells how that dash is going to be.
Exactly. That's a good one. I like that. So what's a surprising joy you've discovered in your own aging journey as you're talking about being proud of getting older?
I think the journey for me is that I am not afraid of it. I think I've seen so much people being afraid of it and living in fear that their last years weren't the best years that they could have been because they were trying to avoid it so much. And I think for me, I was surprising that I'm not scared of it. I thought I would be, but I'm not. And and I think the more I have these conversations with people, I think it even is a little bit more freeing.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's a wonderful place to be at. How do you feel society's view is of aging? Is it better today or not really?
I have a jaded view of society because every time you see something about aging, especially when it comes to women, it's about how you need to not look your age, how you need to not act your age. And it's crazy. And I don't think society has really embraced aging up from a female perspective at all. Once we get to a certain age, you replace you with the young one.
And that's just it.
Exactly. I don't know if they will ever change. And so, but what I have noticed is people our age, we're changing. We're not buying that anymore.
Yep. Exactly. And one thing that I think hasn't changed from not all of them, but some of the younger generations, of course, it's going to depend who you're talking to, right? But one thing that I've noticed is, for instance, with my mom, she was brighter than me. Like, I'm talking memory, right? She could remember things 2 minutes ago, and she could remember things, 20 years ago. It didn't, and everything in between. But for me, so anyhow, we're talking to somebody new or somebody in the old, where she was living, and they would look at me to talk if they were our age or younger, instead of looking at her. And I'd be like, I don't know, ask her. She can answer you. Like, why are you looking at me? She's all there. She has no dementia. Even if she does have dementia, she still wants to be talked to, right? So, sorry.
Yes. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was actually replying back to Judith.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's okay to be afraid, Judith. This is something that it's not something that we've been taught not to be afraid of. And if you're afraid, there is nothing wrong with you at all. And if you're not afraid, there's nothing wrong with you at all. It's our society has got to change and start making it be something that we can talk about and not be afraid to talk about it. Exactly. I tell everybody the best gift my father ever gave me was a funeral plan. He called my sister and I over and he says, hey, I want you to meet Henry. Henry is here to help me plan my funeral. And my sister and I were like, what the heck are you talking about? And we didn't want any part of it. My dad passed a year later and all I had to do was pick up the phone and go back to grieving. I didn't have to walk past the baby caskets. I didn't have to go pick the site. I didn't have to pick the what was going to go into the program, the music. He did everything.
Wow.
And back then, I wasn't ready to have that conversation. I didn't understand it. And I didn't understand it until he passed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he was so ahead of his time.
Wow, that's amazing. That is awesome. So Rhonda says, one of the blessings from my mother having dementia was learning about my mother's younger years that she never talked about before she had it.
Exactly. My grandfather, same thing that happened with him. All I knew was that was my grandfather. That's all I ever knew. And it wasn't until his dementia came, I knew he was in the service. I never knew my grandfather fought in 3 wars.
Wow.
I never knew any of that till he got his dementia. They don't talk about stuff.
Yep. It's good. It's good to hear though when you say that, and when you both say that, because that's how my mom was. My dad didn't stop talking, but my mom, they're from that era where the woman is to be seen and not heard, right? So
yes,
so that's what she did, and to get information out of her was like pulling teeth.
yes.
You know, you'd ask her something, and sometimes she would give you a 2 or 3 word answer, and other times she would, you know, you'd have to kind of drag it out of her though. And then once she started going, it was fine. But
yeah.
So you answered her on that. I'm just going to let you know, Vicki, I don't know why, but my StreamYard lags when it comes to the comments. So you're going to get them before I do. That's what happened with Candace on my last live. She'd be answering people as well, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
I don't see that.
I don't see those comments. So just so you know, I'm not ignoring people. And you're feel free to, even if you want to, you can do it typing, or you can speak out loud as well.
Okay.
You can feel free to. I like to have a relaxed live.
Just like talking to friends.
Exactly. That's why I call it chit chat instead of an interview. So we're going to go on to ask questions about your channel and content, because I'd love for you, if you don't know Vicki yet, or her channel, I would love for you to get to know a little bit more of what she does on her channel. You've heard a little bit about it, but we're just going to get a little bit deeper here. So what topics do you wish you could cover more of on this channel that you're doing?
So many of you, because I can tell by your names here that you have channels.
Yeah, they all do.
And I followed the guru advice of stick to one thing, just teach people things, just give them information, just give them value. Keep your personal self out of it, so nobody care about you. And so that's what I did. I came on and I started just helping people understand what an estate plan was and why it is good for you. It's not a bad thing. It's not about setting it up so that who gets your stuff when you pass. It's really about protecting you while you are alive. Right. And I did that, and I did that, and I did that. And then one day I decided I was just going to sit in front of the camera and talk about how doing Swedish death cleaning at my in-laws' house, how it improved their lives. Yeah. For me, that was a viral video. It got 12,000 views in 2 weeks. And so that was a viral video for me. I'm like, okay, so the gurus are wrong. People want to know why I'm talking about this stuff. And so what I wish I could do more of on the channel is actually do more of the storytelling. And I've been walking a really tight line because my husband is still living it. I try not to tell too many stories because I don't want to bring it back to him. Because it was kind of the way we had to jump in and take care of his parents. It was because we almost lost my father-in-law at the hands of my mother-in-law. He fell and she didn't call anybody. Right. And by a miracle, I happened to get enough information out of her where I said, let me speak to him. And she goes, oh, he's on the floor, blah, 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 blah. Wait, what did you say? He's on the floor, blah, 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 blah. And none of the blah, blah, blah was about him. Right. So I go running over there. He's on the floor. We think he'd been there overnight. And by the grace of God, I got him to a hospital. But those are the types of stories that I'm starting to tell more of with his permission, because I'm trying not to open up too many wounds. But when Gene Hackman passed, he looked at me and said, tell the story. Tell the freaking story. Don't worry about it hurting my feelings, because I just realized that I was ashamed of what happened, but I
Right.
can't be ashamed of what happened because it just happened to a celebrity. And if it
Yes.
happened to a celebrity, it's probably happening to a lot more of our friends. And so we need to tell people it can happen. And it can happen because I'm diligent. I was going over there every single day. So he fell sometime after I left, and I was doing my next day call to see what they needed for me to bring over that evening. But I said, you know what, guys, I'm going to come over early today. Thank goodness I called, at 9 a.m. to see what they wanted me to bring instead of at 4 p.m.
Right. Wow. Definitely. Definitely a God thing. Millie Pugh. Hello, Millie Pugh. This is a friend of mine. I've been friends with her for, I'm going to say 25 years, 29 years, something like that. Anyhow, telling them it's a vitamin can be dangerous if they forget they took the pill already. They
Yeah,
may,
we're in control of her medications. That's why we're okay with saying it. We dole
right,
out her medications every single day, and she also has a live-in caregiver that's there when we're not around. So she doesn't even have access to the pill bottles.
right. So that makes a difference.
Mhm,
So just that's good to clarify though, for those
mhm.
who are although most dementia patients, would they be taking their own meds?
Some people haven't been able to infiltrate and be able to control or to help because it's not something that you can just say, my parents have dementia and then put them away because, or my parents
Right.
have dementia and move in a caregiver. The parents actually have to agree to it, except in our case, because of what happened with my father-in-law, they were both deemed incapacitated. My mother-in-law, unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, it's actually fortunately, doesn't know what we've done. In her mind, the caregiver is there, but she just accepts it that they're there and she's helping them.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You got to make it work in the way that they understand things, right?
Yeah, she tells
Millie,
everybody,
thank you
oh,
very much for being here. Sorry, Vicki, I didn't mean
no, I was
to.
gonna say she actually says things like, "Oh yeah, they're here, but I help them. They don't do anything for me. I cook, I clean, I do everything." As they're bringing her lunch on the tray and helping her with the utensils.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's awesome that they allow her to do that, you know?
But she doesn't do anything. She just sits there and
Right.
everything comes to her. But it's funny. We just all play along and just let her
Yeah.
think that she's doing everything.
Th-
She's
That's
doing
amazing. That is amazing. Okay, I'm going to go on to your next. How do you choose which stories or themes to focus on next?
It's usually if I get a comment on a different video, or a lot of times it's questions that I get from former colleagues or my friends who ask me things. And I go, okay, I answered them, but that they asked it, someone else probably wants to know. So, a good idea of that was I had a friend who came to me and she was very, very upset. Her mother is 96 and has
Mm,
brain cancer.
okay, wow.
And she's mad that her mother doesn't want to do this highly aggressive treatment. Her mother says, nope, leave me alone. And she goes, I can't believe how selfish she's being. And I said, no, back the train up. I can't believe how selfish you're being.
Yeah,
She is 96 years old. We all know what this medication can do to her. The doctor explained to her, and there is a 10% chance that she is going to improve. Back the train up and see it from your mother's point of view.
exactly.
Sometimes, as adults in our 60s, we got to realize that we got to put their needs first.
Yeah, 100%. That's the
And so
same
I
with
did a video. I
me.
did that video, and one of my loyal subscribers said, that was hard to watch. And I said, I go, a lot of times I'm going to sneak in here with a hard one. Most of the times they're not like this, but I felt this story needed to be told because I actually had to give my mom permission to leave us because she actually told me, you're in charge of all my medical decisions because I know your sister would put me on a couch until she dies.
Mm, yeah. And it is hard, but you gotta think of them. And that was for both of my parents.
Mhm.
The same way. I don't, is it okay if I share? You good? Um,
Mhm.
my dad was quite traumatic. But
Yeah.
again, he had to make a decision that didn't make my mom happy. But
Right.
he was almost 80. He wasn't
Mhm.
supposed to live to more than 21, I believe, because he had a bad heart.
Mhm.
But anyhow, point being is he had preached his last sermon. Went home. My mom had a hair appointment, so she said, "Well, you're not feeling well. I'm just gonna stay home with you." And he goes, "No, no, no. Go get your hair done. I'm fine."
Mhm.
But then he called her and could hardly talk while she was getting her hair done. So she
Mhm.
called me. When I got there, it was a half an hour drive. So we had just dropped them off at home. Went
Mhm.
home. By the time we got home, I think we had been home for maybe 10 minutes. Then we got the call, had to turn around and go back. And I could hear him. We thought it was kids screaming, but I could hear him screaming because his aorta had ripped. And so he was bleeding internally. So I couldn't even touch I went in slowly. His door was open. I went in slowly to just so I didn't scare him, right? So I touched
Mhm.
him. No, 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 don't even touch me. Like, and so we started heading to the other town because we're all in small towns, right?
Mhm.
And so I was like, no, like what happens if something happens and we have to call an ambulance? Because so we did. We called an ambulance and they took that from there. But you have to also be an advocate in the hospital for your parents when they need
Mhm.
it. They were gonna they kept him at that hospital in a small town when they should
Mhm.
have sent him right away to Regina, like to the city, for 12 hours, right? So
Wow.
I had to keep saying, and there was one night that, um, yeah, they sorry, I took him to the hospital every day almost for a couple weeks. So all of that
Mhm.
is kind of blend together. But you have to be an advocate for your
Yes.
parents and know them and know what they need because it took 3 nurses to figure out that it was his heart, right? So
Wow.
it's and to get the doctor in to see him. So anyhow,
Yeah.
I won't go on with any more of that. We're going to continue on. Thanks, Mike, for being here. I appreciate that.
And
Uh,
it's what you just shared. It's like I think a lot of times we've been holding on to this, and we've been holding on to this for so long, and it's nice to have a place where you feel safe enough that you can let it out, how you feel.
exactly.
Because I don't know about you, but I always felt like I had to be the strong one, and I
Yes.
had to keep it together till the business was done, and then go off myself and do what I needed to do. But I never felt like I could grieve in the moment when it came to my parents. I had to
Yeah.
take care of business first.
Yeah. And well, trying to think. Yeah, we just took care of business, even with
Mhm.
my dad. My mom, my sister was more in charge of her because she was living close to my sister at that time.
Mhm.
Hey, Miss M. Yeah. So yeah, and that's the thing. It's a lot, but I'm going to ask you another question. So, um, do you ever take comments that viewers comment and turn it into a video? Now, I think you might have just shared one of those.
That one was actually a personal conversation
Okay, a personal
offline,
conversation.
but yes, I do take comments. I've made more Swedish death cleaning videos than I ever thought I would make because people keep asking questions. So I had someone say, "Well, how do you Swedish death clean your electronic clutter?" And so I did a video about that. And then I had someone actually ask me, "Okay, well, I don't have any kids. I don't have anybody that I can, trust, or I don't even have any like nieces or nephews. How much is it going to cost me to have an executor or a trustee?" So I did that video.
Nice.
So I do look at the comments and I do try to answer them because, like I said, if one person is asking, it doesn't make sense for me just to answer, in that comment. I'm going to follow it
Right.
up with a video.
That's awesome. That's a great way to do it. And you can do it a little bit more in depth in a
Yes,
video than you can in the comment, right?
exactly. No one wants Vicky's 75-page novel in the comment.
In the comment section. So, have you received any really meaningful comments from viewers?
I received two that I wouldn't say that. I received a lot of memorable ones, but two that really stick with me was a person who, when I did the Swedish death cleaning video, saying how she felt so empowered after she saw my video that she went and shared it with her mother and father, and they let her clean their house.
Wow.
And that she had been trying for 10 years to get them to declutter.
Well, that's amazing.
And it wasn't until they heard that I had to do it to bring my father-in-law home from the hospital, and it clicked for them that if something happens to them and the doctor says your house isn't fit for you to go back and your family has to put you in a facility, it clicked for them.
Wow. That's amazing.
And then the second one was just a recent one, and it was actually on a short, and I never get comments on a short. So this one really shocked me, but I was talking about how when you get to the end, and if you haven't made the plans, then you're kind of at the mercy of whatever we can come up with for you, because there's no plan.
Right.
And this person said, that is my biggest nightmare, because I have a degenerative disease. And when I get to the point where I can't think for myself or anything, I don't want to do that to my kids. I'm just going to end it. And I had to sit with that for 3 days before I felt comfortable enough to answer it. And finally I said, okay, I'm just going to answer it as if I would tell someone that I know. You can't do that, because even though that's how you feel, just think about how your family will feel if they lost you and you didn't give them the opportunity to tell you that they're there for you.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the pain and suffering that my mom killed herself because she didn't think I'd be here for her?
Right. Yeah, that would be horrible.
And so those two stick with me the most, but I get a lot of great comments. I don't hardly have any trolls. I only had two trolls. One who says, I ain't cleaning my house. I ain't getting rid of my stuff. Screw those kids.
Unfortunately, you've got those ones, yes.
And then the one person who completely misunderstood when I was doing the comparison between Gene Hackman and my family, thinking that I had gossip on Gene Hackman's kids and why they didn't take care of him.
Yeah, I've just got the in on
Yes.
this level.
Here's a scoop, and oh, by the way, the title says what happened to Gene Hackman could have happened to my family. How did you get that I was scooping anybody?
Do you have it's called here a fan favorite video, but do you have a video that you got a lot of people that have watched it and commented? I don't know if it's I won't comment for you. Go ahead.
It really is. So the one that has the most views is the what happened with Gene Hackman and how it almost happened. I told the whole story about my father-in-law's fall. And then, but the one that I got the most comments, and I want to say the most meaningful comments, because I even had people who were trying to badmouth people in the comments, like, I can't believe you leave that for your kids, and people coming in defending them.
Nice.
And so that was the Swedish death cleaning video, and it was the 3 benefits of Swedish death cleaning from my in-laws. And that to me is, I think that was the first time I saw that I had a community.
That's awesome. Yeah, that video hit home to me as well. Like, my sister would always talk about it, right? But it really, when I saw your video, it clicked even more. Like, even though we had already been downsizing and trying to get rid of things, it just really clicked more that, especially with my chronic illness that I have, that I don't want to be putting my kids through that, going through my stuff.
And the sad part about it was, I shouldn't say sad part, my in-laws' house wasn't crazy.
Right.
It was the things that were behind closed doors. There were 3 rooms that nobody ever went in, and then we figured out why nobody ever went into them, because they just weren't part of the living situation. But there was stuff everywhere, and there were things in closets. Like, if you watch old cartoons and you'd open up the closet, things would fall. That's exactly how these closets were, and we didn't understand at the time, like, how did we miss this?
Right.
You know, what the heck was going on? They've been married for almost 60 years before my father-in-law passed. They had every canceled check from the time they opened their joint checking account till Michael took over. And we thought all they had was what was in the office drawer. No, they had this stuff in a closet, and it was every single one of them, every tax return since they've been married, and it was just so much paper. It was every Christmas card they'd ever received. It was just
Mhm.
nuts. And by the time we had 7 days to clean out the house. When we got all that stuff out of the house, my mother-in-law was getting allergy shots for 35 years. And when Michael took over, Michael says, "No, Mom, you're not getting more allergy shots because nobody should be getting allergy shots for that long." And
Yeah.
within like a couple of months, her allergies went away because her house was giving her allergies. All that
Mm,
paper, mite and dust and was just all over the house because of that's where they were sleeping. They were sleeping in the color that we didn't see. They had to walk
okay.
through it to get to their bedroom. And so their bedroom was fine. And because it was behind closed doors, we didn't notice it.
Right. Wow.
And that's another thing, people snoop on your parents. Open doors, open cabinets.
Yep. Although they might not like it.
So you just have to the bathroom and go the long way.
Yeah. Excuse me. Um, do you have any habits that are helping you to age well?
I am terribly, terribly bad at helping myself age well. I have my will and my estate plan, and I have to have conversations. And as a caregiver, let me rephrase that. As a person who worked in corporate America pretty much all her adult life, I have bad habits of just putting everything before myself. And
Right.
so in 2026, I said I had to drop all those habits and I had to start putting myself first. I have to start scheduling around, stop scheduling around the mother-in-law and start scheduling her around me.
Right.
Taking more control and pushing back on the doctors too. Can I come see her tomorrow at 7? No, you can't, because it's now 3 o'clock p.m. and no, I can't turn around and be there at 7 o'clock in the morning. No.
Yeah. I know exactly.
You are you kidding me? You knew you wanted to come. Why didn't you call and make this, a better schedule?
That's
So
good.
I'm going to be getting better habits to make sure. I think the other thing is I have this false sense that I'm healthy because while I'm overweight, I have good blood pressure, I have good cholesterol, I have all these good things that lured me into thinking, "Oh yeah, you're fine, you're okay." You're going like, yeah, you know what? Even the people who thought they were fine had problems, so stop that.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And that's the thing too. Like my brother, he's very thin
Hmm.
because he's takes care of himself. But even that, he ended up in the hospital.
Hmm.
So it's good to take care of yourself. I'm not saying don't take care of yourself, but I'm just saying never assume
Right.
that you're not going to get sick.
Exactly. And that I don't need self-care.
Some, yes,
Meditation with Marie has become my best friend.
that's awesome.
I love her
Well,
videos
I
now.
have to check her out. Um, so is there a piece of advice you find yourself repeating to friends or family?
Yes. I said, everyone loves to say, "There, but for the grace of God, go I." And I'm not going to say that God isn't part of it, but you also have to help yourself, because it also says that God helps the child that has his own. So if
Right.
you don't take care of your health, and if you don't take care of your living space and get it ready for you, put the grab bars in the shower, darn it, get the rug off the stairs, do things that are going to help take care of you. He can't have his plan come to fruition if you're sabotaging it.
Yes, exactly. I think this is a redundant question, so I'm not going to ask it. What's a life lesson you think everybody should learn before 60, or even if they are 60 and over and haven't learned it yet? What do you think that would be a good piece of advice for?
The life lesson that I think everybody needs to know is that everything changes. Nothing stays the same. And so who you were, what you were when you were 30 changes at 40, 50, 60, and all the years in between. And if you can embrace those changes, you are going to have a wonderful and happy life.
Right. Awesome. How do you stay resilient when faced with aging related challenges?
I think I just remind myself of my mother, the person who was never supposed to have me or any of this other stuff, and how she lived basically full up until she was 70. And my mom passed on the operating table.
Wow.
So it was not a matter, her, her heart was, because of the scarlet fever, she'd had, I think it was 3 different heart valve replacements over her lifetime. They don't, and so this last one, she was starting to get weaker, and the doctors were holding off saying, well, you need to be stronger to have the surgery, but you need to have the surgery to get stronger.
Right.
And that was the conversation that I had to have with my mom and say, you know what, Mom, you've lived your life. You've raised us. This is now your decision. You can have it or not have it. I'll deal with the other guys. You make your decision, whatever you want to do. So she ultimately decided to have it, but I had a laundry list of instructions that I had to follow should something go wrong. Like, I don't want to be on life support. I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want this. And so she actually passed on the operating table. And I think that was the part where my family kind of like broke apart with, I can't believe that she's not here. And I can't believe that she made that decision to leave us. And it's like, she didn't make a decision to leave you. She made a decision, like she said, I'm going to give it to God. And if he takes me, he takes me. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Right. But Vicki, if he doesn't, make sure that I don't live this way.
Yeah.
And I think that for me, when I see that, it's like, my mom wasn't really afraid. And my mom just wasn't afraid all her life. Everything that she was told she wouldn't do or wouldn't have. And that's how I look at aging. Right. Is if I do the things I'm supposed to do, then I'm going to be just like my mom. I'm going to walk. I'm going to thrive. And I'm going to be everything that I need to be until it's time for me to go.
Right. That's awesome. All right. So, what's one conversation you love to have with the community here? Or YouTube community?
I think it's just aging in general, because we're all coming at it from a different perspective. And I learn just as much from all of you as you say you learn from me. And it's like, oh, I didn't think of that. One example was I gave and this is the one that I'm like, oh great, I could have killed somebody with this one. I gave this a free Christmas gift idea of take them a home cooked meal. And she goes, yeah, but make sure you check and see if they have allergies.
Yep. I remember seeing that comment.
and I think that is what I really love with this community, is nobody is afraid to correct.
Exactly.
And add additional context.
Yeah. And they're not being rude about it. They're just saying.
And so for me, it's not just one conversation. It would be a conversation is, tell me your best advice that you wish you would have known when you were like 20 or 30. And I'm pretty sure that would be a conversation that would go on for years.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Oh, my phone. If you could invite anyone, living or historical, to talk about aging, who would it be?
So this is kind of a cheat because I already did it.
Okay.
With my mom passing when she was 70. So my mom passed 16 years ago for me. Okay. I have a surrogate mom who's almost around the same age as my mom. And I was telling her one day that I really wish I could bring my mom back and ask her the questions I never was mature enough to ask her.
Right.
And she says, I'm here, ask me. And so she came onto my channel and let me ask all the questions I would have wanted to ask my mom.
Nice. That's amazing. I have to go back and watch that one. I missed that one. I love this. These are all so important and I love hearing the experiences that you have and go through. It's so encouraging, and it's very refreshing and enlightening, because yeah, my kids are not ready to hear any of that stuff either, right? But I have to get everything in order so that when the time comes, they know where it is regardless. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not morbid. It takes a time for when something bad happens and you then see how easy it is to navigate it because your parents put the plans in place. And when I say put the plans in place, it doesn't even have to be formal, guys. You can just write it down, share it in some kind of way. Life gets so much easier when we're not guessing. Because like my mom
exactly.
didn't have an estate plan or a will, but she had this notepad of paper that had all of everything that she wanted.
Well, that's awesome. Makes it so much more, a little bit lighter, right? Than having to guess. And
Yes, I love that, Rhonda. At 72, my best advice about aging is don't let the old woman in at any age. Matter of fact, I made a video called that is so good, because once you start to see yourself the way others portray you, you've lost the battle. You've let them in your head.
That's right. That was a very good video that she made.
I will
as
definitely
well.
go watch that.
What community activities or groups have helped you feel connected?
So I think the biggest thing for me is my 83-year-old friend. Because she keeps all of us, what she calls youngsters, in line. And she reminds us that if she can get up and go and do water aerobics 3 times a week, why the heck can't we? And
Right.
if she can walk the entire mall without having to stop for a lemonade, why can't we? And so I met her at my last job, and there was a group of us, I want to say about 20 of us, and I think that group of all ages, because I wasn't even the youngest,
Yeah.
all the way up to her who was 83, I think that group, because it's multi-generational,
Right.
keeps me moving, because I can see myself in those people.
That's awesome.
And I can see that if I do certain things a certain way, that's where I'm going to be headed.
That's amazing. It's important to have a group like that, I think, in your life.
Yep. And then I came onto YouTube, and I have all my virtual friends talking about aging in a way that I was afraid to start my channel. I was really afraid that nobody cared. Nobody wanted to hear. I was just going to be speaking into the void. And when I spoke into it, so many of you came into my comments. Oh, that's my parents. Oh, that's me. Oh, have you thought of this? Or have you tried that? And I was not expecting that. And so I also have to say, this YouTube community that we're building here, I was afraid of social media, but I have to say this YouTube isn't social media based on how you guys all act.
Yeah, like our community is amazing, and it's growing all the time. And we all seriously care about each other.
Yes.
And yeah, it's like you said, it's amazing. What's one small way viewers can support someone in their life who is aging? Maybe
this is my favorite question. And that
awesome.
is just be there for them. Visit with them in person if you can. I know sometimes we're not always close, but what happens when you do it by phone, and I'm dealing this with a lot of family members right now who, oh no, I called them, they sounded fine. Yeah, you know what, I called too, and your dad was on the floor. You got to go over, and because community can also help to stave off dementia, and community helps to relieve that loneliness and depression. So one of the things I have with my mother-in-law is she doesn't remember that she was a loner when they were first married and they didn't really have kids. They didn't really have friends. They just had their kids. And
Right.
that was their model. You just need family. So now that she's in dementia and the same 2 to 3 faces is what she sees, she's wondering why her friends don't come over. And she doesn't understand that she never made any. She didn't want any.
Yeah.
And then whenever I take her somewhere, everybody that she meets because of her dementia is her friend. Vicki, this is so-and-so. And these people are looking at me like she's crazy. I've never met this woman before. And I have to like kind of mouth them. And then they'll play along.
Okay.
But, before we took over, that's the part that scares me the most, is how many times that they put themselves in harm's way with strangers thinking that they were their friends. Because the caregiver called me one time that my mother-in-law was upset with her because she wanted to let some guy in to talk to him. And she goes, no, we don't know this person. And she goes, oh, yes, I do. That's Mr. So-and-so. And he lives on the corner and we're just going to talk. And he's really nice and blah, blah, blah. And she's, reaching out to me and she's like, this is not a person that I've ever seen come here. And I've never heard you guys talk about him. And it was a stranger. We don't know who this person was, what he was trying to do. And the caregiver was in her right to say that. But my mother-in-law was adamant that that was her friend. And when she finally told us the friend's name, we're like, he passed 20 years ago. This is not that man.
Right.
And it was a neighbor. It was the neighbor that lived on the corner. And he was never really a friend, just someone that they knew in passing. But she's trying to find these friendships that she never built.
That's amazing. So we've only got one question left here. I'll go ahead and read Gina's, Mrs. G, comment there if you don't.
Yes, this is great information. Very relative and relatable, especially if we have parents who are older. And as we are growing older, we don't like to think. We don't like to this about it. Yeah, it's very much needed. And that's the reason why I started my channel. I am shocked every single day when I look at my subscribers and that I have over 1,500 subscribers. Because when I first started, I thought there was no way people are ready for what I'm about to say. Nobody wants to hear it. People want ooh, here's this great hair dye. Ooh, here's this great makeup. Here's how we're not going to look like we're 50 or 60. And I didn't think people would actually resonate. And that's why I said this community, I was really surprised that how many were like, oh my gosh, I understand that. I had that with my parents. I had that with my grandparents. And I'm just in real awe. And I'm so excited that people are starting to see it for what it is. It's just a part of life. And the sooner that we understand it, and we know not everyone's going to get dementia, but there could be a time when we get lonely if we isolate.
Exactly.
One of the videos that I also made too was about my in-laws isolation, was after I kept seeing all these videos come across my feed about I'm 50 and I avoid people, I'm 60 and I don't need people. And I'm like, okay, guys, let me tell you how much you don't need people. Let me tell you what happened with my in-laws who didn't need people. And now they're looking for people.
Yeah, that's so true. You don't realize it, when you're younger and you don't have a lot of needs.
Yes.
So this is our last question now. And then if anybody has other questions, feel free to pop in. This is the last question. Hope you do. How do you hope this channel helps people feel not alone in their aging journey?
By telling my stories, by, like my husband said, ripping off the Band-Aid and telling the tough stuff, telling about how they were lining themselves with strangers because they're so lonely, or talking about how my father-in-law laid on the floor for 18 hours because my mother-in-law was actually in undiagnosed dementia and didn't think she needed to call for help. Actually argued with the paramedics that they didn't need to do anything with him, just put him in a chair, he's fine.
Wow.
And that these things can happen to us even as children who are diligent. Someone like me who's going over there every single day and not seeing what was happening in front of me because I didn't understand what dementia was. I didn't understand that my mother-in-law's weird way of walking was actually a dementia symptom. I didn't know that. I thought it was, you need to take off those heels and start wearing some shoes with grip or something. It had nothing to do with that. And so I'm hoping that people can see themselves in the stories that I'm telling and understand that you're not a bad kid if you didn't know, because I'm not a bad kid.
Yep, exactly.
And what to look for in your in-laws or your parents, your siblings, the people you love around you, what to look for so that you can help them better in the future, and also for yourself. Because some of these things happen before you lose that ability to make sound judgment.
Right.
You could be just like my mother-in-law, who was like, no, I have to wear these heels because I can't walk in tennis shoes. I'm like, what? I think the biggest one was she used to make jam, and that was her thing. She made homemade jam, and we couldn't figure out, why is it taking her 2.5 weeks to make jam?
Right.
That's a sign, guys. We just thought, okay, mom is just doing something weird, but no, that's a sign. She couldn't stay on task, and she kept starting and stopping, starting and typing, and we didn't know because we weren't actually there. So I really think if you can't be there, get a church group, call a social worker in the area, call the local area on agency, try to get local area agency on aging, if I can talk tonight, and try to get someone who can go in and check for you. Like here in America, we have Meals on Wheels. Meals on Wheels was great when we were starting this process, and they were spying on them for us as well. We were trying to get everything up and running to kind of infiltrate them. So if you can't be there in person, find people who can spy, report back to you so that you got some eyes on it. And plus it also gives them a little bit of community that you trust, people you know going in there, and not, like I said, I have no idea what that man was trying to do.
Right. That was a scary experience, I'm sure. So I'm just going to say thank you so much, Vicki. All of your advice, all of your information, your experiences, your stories, they are so important. And I applaud you for starting your YouTube channel on this. You know, you've created your own niche, and that's amazing. Actually, it just gives me chills.
I have a fun one for you too. I joined a Facebook group to try to learn about YouTube, and I just asked a question in this group, and the guy says, nobody cares about that. People have already done that. Silver and Solo has the market on that. And I'm like, Silver and Solo doesn't talk about anything that I talk about. Why do all of us old people have to be the same person?
No, Silver and Solo talks about being by herself. That's okay.
I just found it interesting that, okay, you think all old people just talk about the same thing. And I resent being called old too, but I'm saying it now in joke.
I also just want to throw out there, if anybody wants to if I haven't invited you to do a live with me interview, you don't have to be a YouTuber, but if you've got important information to share with people that you think, you know, whether it's on finance, whatever it is, let me know. Send me an email. My email is in my description of my YouTube channel where it says view email. Feel free to reach out to me. And it can be
this is fun. This is not work. This is not stressful. It's just sitting down talking with a friend and a lot of people in the comments.
Exactly. Exactly. And yeah, so feel free to let me know if you think you know somebody that might want to have a chit chat with myself as well. Send them my way. And I am booked up until we're starting to go into April, because I think we're doing one-on-ones, but I really feel like, and the last few one-on-ones has really confirmed that doing a one-on-one as opposed to a group effort is really important, because what people are sharing, I think, is heard a little bit more when it's a one-on-one as opposed to a group.
Yeah, and I'm going to steal your thunder here too and say, same thing. Last year I did a couple of recorded chats with my friends. I didn't do them as live. I did them as recorded chats. Just how people are aging on their terms, and I would love to have people come on, because I have my perspective on what aging on your terms means, but everybody has a different perspective. And if you can come onto my channel and tell people your perspective, and it takes people to your channel, I'll be more than happy to, host those chats. And I think I now actually have a way that I can actually share it where you can also put it on your channel as well. So.
Okay, nice. That would be good to know as well,
Mm-hmm.
because I would love to be able to do that for people. Right now, as far as I know, you have to pay for StreamYard right now, but I'm paying for enough things on YouTube.
Okay, I'll put a caveat. Mine aren't lives. I actually record them and do them as a video, so I can actually share the video with them. Yeah, not lives.
Gotcha. That's good. Okay, that's a good way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think of that. You've just
but lives are good too.
Jas
brought me kicking and screaming into lives, and
she's good at
I'm
that.
getting better at them. I'm a good guest. I don't know how I would do as a host.
Oh, you'd be an amazing host.
I'd be looking at the camera. Are they talking to me? Anybody there?
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah. That is very true.
And I honestly do believe that, all of us here, it's something that you guys will say will resonate with other people's audiences as well. And, if YouTube won't push us in the algorithm, we can push each other.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, most of the people in our community are over 60, right? Well, I'm not 60 yet, but I mean 40s and 50s and up. I've got some younger, but and I'm sure everybody does. But it's something that this specific conversation is something that everybody needs to hear. So no matter your age.
And don't take what I say as you got to go out tomorrow and have an estate plan. That's not what I'm saying. It's just start thinking about what it is that you think that you want as you age, how you want to age. Do you want to have, do you want to stay home? Do you want to, go live with a kid? But if you don't have those conversations and make those plans, it's never going to happen if it's not already in place right now. And that's what we have with my mother-in-law is, the doctor kept telling us they need to go into a facility, but we knew we couldn't do that to them. We saw what's happening with my father-in-law when he was in the facility. But at the same time, they hadn't done anything to their house to make it where it would support them as they got older, because that's for old people.
Yeah.
And okay, even now that you're in your 80s, is that still for old people? Yeah, that's for old people. We're not there yet. You just fell in front of me. Nope, I didn't fall. I sat down. I didn't fall.
Yep. I just say it because a few of these stories remind me. My sister takes care of a lady who has dementia, and she took. And
I can laugh because, in all honesty, I can now see it for what it is. 10 years ago, these types of things would tick me off. But now I understand, because back then I thought, oh, they're just being stubborn. I can't believe it. What's wrong with them? And now it's like, it's not them. It's their brain telling them, don't listen to her. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one very, very important thing to learn, and I'm just going to share this one little thing, just because I think, like you had mentioned, you didn't want to send your parents into a facility, or parents-in-law. Right? And that was the same. If you have this opportunity, this lady happened to be wealthy, so her and her kids weren't there for her. And my older sister and I happened to know these family members, and our middle sister lived close to this lady without knowing, right, as a sister of a sister. So they said, well, we really need somebody to take care of her and whatever. So my sister has that experience. So she went in there and found out that the accountant that they had was trying to embezzle money and trying to get her, like, they had, sorry if this is a little bit too much information, but these are the stories people need to hear. Not be doing to a lady at all. So she was getting worse and worse, right? My sister comes along, starts taking care of her, and she stayed in her home for another 6 years. She's only been in a nursing home now for a year, but my sister still is there. Why? Everybody's understaffed. They can't take care of, your family member as well as you or somebody that you trust.
Yeah. And my father-in-law, when he had his fall and he had to go to a rehab facility, out of his surroundings, sharing a room with someone, and they basically told us he's not getting better. He's lost his will to live. We should just move him to a skilled nursing facility and let him, live out the rest of his days. And we're like, no, we're going to bring him home. Well, my father-in-law was home for 3 days. He starts walking around the house. He's back to his normal self. Unfortunately, he succumbed to the Parkinson's, and we didn't know he had, 6 months later. But his last 6 months, he was alive. He was awake.
Right.
He was walking. He was talking. It was like that stint in the facility was what put him over the edge. Like, oh,
Yes.
they're just putting me here to die. My worst fears have come true. My family has put me into an insane asylum.
Right. Yeah. And there are some that are good. Like my mother, thankfully, she was put into a long-term care center. Now, unfortunately, most of the people there had dementia. It was in a small town, but the nurses knew that she didn't. My mom loves to tease and to joke and to be sassy. So the nurses would play along with her. Yes. They like to be sassy and joke as well. They would even invite her to go play games with them. And they, so that was a wonderful place for her to be in her last year and a half of life. So.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is not that if you can't keep them at home, that you're a bad person. It was just a choice that we made because they had the money. And so why not make it be spent to give them part of that life that they wish they would have asked for back?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. Well, thank you so much once again, Vicki. I'm not going to take up any more of your time, but
no problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, what you have shared today is to me like gold. It's more than gold. It's such a need. And I really appreciate you and everything that you have given to me over this, last little while that I've known you. I'm not sure if it's been a year or how long I've known you, but just in
Thank
your
goodness
videos.
You didn't know me in the cartoon days. I bring them back from time to time to remind people that I used to hide behind a cartoon.
I'll have to watch those ones. I remember you talking about that in one of your videos.
I was just starting the caregiver. It was like bags under the eyes. Sometimes you have food on your shirt. You're like, I got a video. I'm doing everything faceless.
Well, that works too, right? At least it got you started and got you going.
It did. It made me start, and I'm really glad that I started because, like I said, YouTube, it surprised me in so many positive ways.
Exactly. I never expected when I started YouTube to have a community. I just expected to be like going it alone and doing my thing and listening to the gurus and trying to make it work. But it's a little bit more encouraging.
I think we need to ban that term guru. They're no gurus. They don't know anything.
They're gurus in their mindset, I guess. But I was watching one video. I don't know if this is kind of off the topic, but we're talking about YouTube right now. About somebody who is just saying, how it was two vidIQ guys, and they were talking about how YouTube is changing, and the people ask them like, "Are shorts taking over?" They would ask them. They're like, "Well, I think it's more like what you watch, right? Like YouTube is trying to push out more shorts, but this one guy had to say, stop sending me so many shorts because that's not the first thing I want to see.
Right.
When you go on YouTube." But
yeah, I did a whole bunch of shorts recently because I was having a real battle with caregiving and thought, okay, I don't want to lose people. So we made a bunch of shorts from my old videos. And then I was still able to eke out the weekly ones. And I'm like, okay, but shorts are coming to an end for me after those ones are scheduled.
I think shorts are wonderful though. They have their place and I think they're amazing. But I think what they were saying is they were getting from a lot of people. Like say, if I'm following somebody and I see their short, I'm going to watch it, right? Because there's value in that. Or maybe somebody new is going to meet you and get to know you and your channel because of a short, right? But
yeah, but I think now, but I put out all those shorts. I think my people are probably ticked off. They got a lot more shorts in their feed. because they watched one of them.
Well, I think, yeah, you probably don't have to abolish them completely, but only if you want to.
Yeah, they won't be an everyday occurrence. I can tell you that.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, Kathleen.
Yeah,
I really do appreciate it.
well.
And your subscribers are awesome.
As are yours, and you are awesome. So thank you. And if you don't know Vicki yet, check out Aging On. I'm going to put it here. Aging, if I spell it right, Aging on Your Terms. Will that bring them there? No, probably not, right? You know what? 1 second. Don't run away. I am going to, I could probably have just asked somebody else to do this, but seeing as everybody's a moderator, where's your, there it is.
Yeah, see, this is the part, like I said, it's like, it's easier for me to record than I have to do all this stuff.
There we go. And that's the thing, you got to do what works for you, right?
I think one of these days when life like really comes on, I can probably really get into lives. I'm not scared of them. Just I'm just so afraid that one of these days I'm going to do one and it's going to be like people are going to run through. Who's going to throw food at me?
Good thing they can't. Well, the thing that I'm starting to learn, it doesn't matter if we have 1 or 2 people in the live, there's still value.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't matter how many people are out there in the lives, and it doesn't matter if you make what you think is a mistake. What I've been starting to do recently, because my channel to me is about connection, right? So people will go, oh, her channel's about like I have a new person that I follow, and I go onto her lives, and she's, oh, you know, check out Kathleen's place. She's about washing dishes, and I'm like, no. I am not about washing dishes.
She's about Kathleen, not washing dishes.
No, my channel's about connection. So when I wash dishes or when I go grocery shopping or do a haul, I'm connecting with people. And
yes,
there's so many people that want to come back and just hang out. And it's a great way to meet other people. And that's another thing. Like, you don't always have to be, at least on my end, on your topic, but you can be on the live as well. Like, it's just that whatever you find, I think you'll find as you go do your lives what kind of lives. Like I do my spontaneous lives apart from the Wednesday and Thursday lives, which is where I just hang out with people and encourage people, you know, to have a good day or to, you know, just encourage people, right? So,
yeah, and that's definitely needed. I think that's one of the things where I talk about, you know, loneliness. You got to find a way not to succumb to loneliness. And if you have those, if you can't get out and you've got someone like Kathleen that you can connect with,
right,
it just makes it all better.
Exactly. And yeah, and in this world today, it's hard, you know, to always find a group. So it's nice to be able to do that. So anyhow, don't be scared. When you're ready, when you feel ready, or when you don't feel ready, take that.
And that's right. When I don't feel ready, that's the time to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm finally seeing these chats.
Hang out and wash dishes.
Okay, so Rhonda.
Oh, thank you so much, Rhonda.
As well as Living with Judas, Life with Judas. I cannot talk.
I think I rubbed off on you because I was, you know, flubbing my words earlier.
No, this is my normal. Well, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you all. I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Yes, thank you all so much. And I will be checking out a lot of your channels too, for the ones I haven't checked out yet.
Sounds great. And we'll be back to your channel. And yeah, if you ever want me on your channel to do a chit chat, feel free to reach out to me as well.
Yeah, definitely. I just got rid of Zoom, so I'm going to be starting using either StreamYard or Riverside, one of the two, and I'll be scheduling those soon.
Yep, whenever is awesome. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Love you lots. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Nice meeting everyone.
You all are amazing.